Right, the problem I have with Kiwi Farms is how disingenuous they are. My primary example is the one thing that Kiwi Farms is known for, hating trans people. Did you know, fun fact, that at least 2 or 3 of the moderators on Kiwi Farms are trans? Are MTF? Did you know that? Right? And then they don't even hide it. Like, it's not like they got doxxed. No, they posted it on their profile page and in Q&A sections of KF asking for advice. Look, and don't get me fucking wrong. I kind of understand how it's degenerate. At the same time, it's not like they employed themselves, right? These are people Josh personally gave moderator statuses to, right? So if Josh then goes publicly and says, I hate troons for attacking my site, then I'd love to know why those few moderators who are trans aren't included in that. The other one that I'm interested about is a commie dick girl, also known as Laura. Now, that person is MTF and a trans woman, and Josh was friends with Laura, as was his best friend Dine, for the longest period of time, I think. I don't know if they're still friends. I don't think Josh and Laura like each other anymore, but I think the rest of them are still alright with each other. Don't ask me, not in that group, don't know. But, anyway, during that time when they were all best buddies, Josh never said anything about the fact that Laura was trans. Why? Because he was fine with Laura, because Laura was one of the quote-unquote good ones, which it basically, in other terms, is just being selective with your politics, right? You can't say, I hate troons, but then be like, oh no, but these ones are okay because they like Kiwi Farms. That's not how this works. This would be like me saying like, oh, I really hate billionaires, but like Elon Musk is fine because he posts on Twitter. Like, that is literally the same fucking argument. Like, Elon Musk is fine, he has Instagram. Like, how does that have anything to do with anything, right? Like, you cannot say you hate everyone or hate one group of people and then just allow a certain amount of those people to, you know, assume positions of power just because they didn't do anything to you individually. Like, and it's a bit like that with the feminist thing as well. Josh claims that he doesn't hate women, which is complete bullshit, right? If you're hosting pornography, you are inherently fucking damaging women's rights. And the reason why is, even if it isn't revenge pornography, which I think everyone understands why that's a problem, hosting any pornography is funding an industry that essentially my thing cut off. It targets women, the porn industry, that are vulnerable, that are often, like, working class, and that can't really afford to feed themselves. So then when, you know, some pimp comes along and says, hey, do you want to work in a studio and film porn? They don't really have much of a fucking choice, because it's either that or they die of starvation or homelessness, right? So, half of the time, the women who get into porn might be successful after they've gotten into porn, but they were targeted to get into that industry by people who knew they had no other option. So if you are hosting pornography, you are essentially just funding an industry that targets women. That is literally it. Now, when it comes to the trans thing and the feminist thing, like, as a radfem I completely understand a lot of the arguments made, by people who are gender critical. I think I'm kind of gender critical. It's hard for me to say because I feel like so much of the trans thing has been like muddied by places like KF, like Kiwi Farms. So it's hard to actually tell what's real and what isn't, because I mean, you'll have people on Kiwi Farms say things like all trans people are child molesters, which obviously isn't true. That's just flat out not true. Right? Like, if that was the case, I'm pretty sure it would be banned to be trans. Like, that would be banned, right? Because there's only 2 things that the feds and the government care about: children and terrorism. That's it. The other thing that I feel like isn't spoken about enough is the fact that now anyone can say they're trans, and that's a problem, and it's also insulting to women, because you'll have a man who looks like a man, who presents as a man, who will just turn around and say, I identify as a woman now, so you must refer to me as that. And you can get into trouble with the law for not referring to that person by their quote-unquote preferred pronouns. So there's so much that's, like, not covered that it's hard to tell what information is legitimate. The other thing with Kiwi Farms is I want to bear in mind that the reason they don't like trans people, they claim they don't, isn't for any reason other than the fact that trans people were the people that went the hardest against Kiwi Farms. I am not saying that they were justified, because frankly, I think they behaved like idiots. Like, censoring websites is not really on, but that is why the owner of Kiwi Farms doesn't like trans people. There is no other reason apart from because they attacked the site, right? If you're thinking it's because he defends women, you are wrong. He doesn't give a fuck about women, or he wouldn't host pornography. He goes after trans people because they go after and they DDoS his site. That is it. That is literally it. There is no further explanation. And this is my problem, is there's so much disingenuousness on Kiwi Farms that asking a Kiwi farmer their view on anything is like, it's like asking the government what happened with 9/11. Like, these people are not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to flat out be like, here's what happened. Here's why I had these views. No, they're going to make up some bullshit that makes themselves look good and attracts the audience that they want. The fact that you guys think Josh doesn't do that makes you guys so fucking stupid, it's unreal. Like, Josh wants more women in TERFs to support the website. Do you know why he wants more TERFs? It's not because he wants a girlfriend or any of the cute reasons that you guys came up with. That would probably be a lot better. The reality why he wants TERFs is because he thinks that TERFs are the antichrist to trans people. So he thinks that he can weaponize TERFs to attack the trans people attacking Kiwi Farms, even though that's not going to work, because no fucking radical feminist is going to go to war over a site owned by a Moid. I'm sorry, no, none of us are going to war because some scrote got his website DDoSed. I don't know what delusional world you're living in, son, but, like, none of us are gonna go fucking war over, like, some Moid's website. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, if people went after, like a radical feminist website, or places like Redux, I think it's called Redux, owned by, like, Anna Slat, yeah, we would probably go to war, because those places specifically exist to empower women. So if someone were to attack them, it would be an attack on women. But Kiwi Farms being attacked makes zero difference to women. We don't give a fuck. Let me be honest. It is a website primarily occupied by, like, weird, creepy incel men who don't leave their houses. I don't really give a fuck. Like, I'm sorry, none of us are going to go to war over that. Like, I would probably do something to try and stop that site being censored, because I don't agree with that, with deplatforming. But no, none of us are going to go, like, full-blown movement over KF. Like, it's literally, if you think women are going to do that for you, Josh, you are not living in reality. That is not how reality works. I don't care how many of them you hit up in DMs. I don't care how much you say you don't like trans people. There is nothing that is going to convince TERFs to go to war over a website owned by a scrote. And that is just it. That is just a fact. Like, and, yeah, so I think Josh thinks that the more he tries to, like, you know, insert himself into feminist politics, that will translate eventually into feminists defending Kiwi Farms. That is literally less likely to happen than me becoming friends with Elon Musk. I am genuinely telling you. Like, that is so far from something that's likely to happen. Like, there was only probably one radical feminist who stood up for Kiwi Farms, and I think she only did that because she didn't know that KF hosted porn. And there are some TERFs on Kiwi Farms who stand up for Kiwi Farms, but that's only because they post there. If they didn't have accounts there, they wouldn't give a shit either, Josh. Let me be honest. They just happened to find Kiwi Farms, and now they're like, well, we might as well defend it because we use this place too, okay? It's nothing that you're doing. It's not because they give a shit about you. Women just want a place to be able to express themselves. We don't give a fuck about the scrote that's owning it. Like, the amount of egotism is incredible. The fact that Josh even thinks women would give a fucking shit about his website. Fuck off. Like, please give up. Like, it's kind of in a way insulting. It's kind of insulting to think that we are so simple that we will just be like, yeah, let's just blindly follow your fucking grift. Let's not question anything. You're right. You're the biggest advocate for us ever. Fuck all of the feminist platforms that already exist. No, we want a site owned by a scrote that that regularly calls women whores. That's exactly what we want. Like, what world is this man living in? I just don't get it. Like, do none of Josh's friends tell him how he looks to everyone else? And it's like this with onion farms. Onion farms are meant to be the better Kiwi farms. They're meant to be places for people of all gender. Well, that's a bit fucking difficult when the people you have as staff members actively either have records for or have, like, accusations of, like, abusing women. Like, Kengal, you cannot turn around and say your website is all for supporting women when several of your staff members have been accused of sexual harassment. That's not how, like, no, it's not a safe space for women if they feel like they can't go to a website without being sexually harassed by some freak called Brian Nunez. That's not feminism. Like, that's not inclusive. Trollcow Farm would have been okay to support women and to give them a place to post. But then at the same time, most of the people posting on that website are into children. So it's like, we don't really have a website that we can post on. And I'm sorry, Josh, but it's definitely not going to be you. You know, I would genuinely sooner, like, fight for, like, trans rights than fight for Kiwi farms. I know that sounds bad, but at least with the trans people, they are open about their hatred of us. Kiwi farmers like to pretend that they give a shit about women. That's scarier to me than the open misogynists. That's all I'm going to fucking say on that.